Okay, so today we're going to start by talking about basic merging. Now, we've already talked about the importance of cleaning up the family search database so that it is the most correct and accurate that we can make it to be. So when you log into new families or to familysearch.org, you're going to come to the pedigree view, which is this one here. And as we've already talked about before, the only way you can actually fix anything is to go to the detail view of a particular person. So we're going to go to Robert Pottle, and go to his personal information. Okay, now the important thing I want to look at here is the family members information. Now, as you can see, this is Roger and his wife Eleanor and all of his children, and his father Azaria and all of his children, which are the brothers and sisters to Robert. What you will notice here, as we pan down through this, that all of a sudden there's two parents. Wait, no, there's three. Okay, this is the kind of thing that we need to fix. Now, one thing about merging is you have to be extremely sure about what you're doing. Okay, so when you have the situation where there's a father with a person with more than one set of parents, we need to make sure that the fathers and the mothers at least have the same name and information. So we got Azaria and Anne. Go to the second set, Azaria and Anne. The third one is Azaria and Anne. Now they may be spelled different. They may have slightly different information, but they're in essence the same people. So what we want to do is merge all of these Azarias. Okay? Robert Pottle has been defined to each one of those three sets of parents, and yet they're the same people. So what we do is we go to Azaria's personal information. Wait for it to load. Wait for it. Okay, so now here we are with Azaria and Anne, and if we go down here, there's no other wives. That's because the other Azarias are different versions of the same person. So the way we do this is we look over here, and forgive me, but it's a little hard to see, but it says possible duplicates. Okay. As you can see, there are several versions of the same person. Okay, spelled differently, different information, but the same person. Okay, look at all these. These are all the same person, but they're in there 15 times. Okay, so the way we do that, and I'll move my screen so you can see that, is we go over here to the end of the line where it says review merge. Okay, and this is reviewing the merge with the original version that we picked that had the most valid information on it. Okay, so we say review merge. I'm going to try to get as much viewing as we can on here, but some of the information is going to be restricted. So let's take a look at what we've got here. When you get to the merge screen, first of all, there's the name. Okay, and this is the summary information. What you want to do is in the right column, okay, you want to verify each one of these boxes. And you will either reject it, replace it, or in certain cases, add it. Never finish the merge if you haven't done something with each box. Okay? So we're going to assume at this point that Azaria is spelled with the A-R-I-A, not the E-R-I-A. So we're going to reject this. We're going to reject that because he's already a male. The birth information that we have on the original page is more detail. The death date has more detail. Okay, keep paging up. Now here's the wife. Although it's the same information. Okay, so look at this personal identification number. Okay, it is the same as this personal identification number. Okay, which means Anne had defined to her more than one husband. Okay, so since we have an Anne Gearens with marriage information, we're going to reject this one so that we don't get another marriage defined. We keep going down, and then there's Roger. Okay, again, look at the personal number, the personal identification number. It's the same. We don't want him attached to two different parents. If you leave this here, when you look at Roger, he will have his name defined to a father and mother with no name. Okay, so we're going to reject this because he's already in the correct family. Okay, we're done. We've looked at every single box. We've made a decision on what it should be, and now we say continue merge. Okay, now we say, why is this the same? I sometimes, when it's obvious why, I don't put anything in there, but you can say these are the same people, and you say finish merge. Okay, so what that's going to do is take away one of the marriages for Anne Gearens. Okay, and so we have to do this with every one of his duplicates. So we go back to review duplicates. We see there's another one with an Anne. We do the review merge. Okay, it is spelled the same, so we reject. He's a male, we reject. Okay, nothing else there, nothing else there, nothing else. Oh, all of a sudden we've got an Anne. Now the reason why she isn't up with the other Anne is because it's a different number. We don't want to lose this number. We'll merge these together later, but we want to make sure we keep it until we get it merged. If we reject it, she will be thrown off into a non-attached place, and she may never get merged. So we want to add her. Now, Aziri Jr., okay, we look at his personal identification number, and then we look at the personal identification up here of the one that's in with the real parents, not the same. So again, we have to add that so we don't lose it. Okay, and that's all of that one. And I'm not going to put any explanation in there for now. And now we have one less record we have to fix. So now we go back to possible duplicates. And we do the same thing. We do the review. So when you're going through and cleaning up the the family search database like we're doing right now, you have to be extremely prudent and extremely patient because it can be lengthy. Okay, Elmira, 9JN is the last three. We go back up here and find Elmira. Here's Elmira. 9J3, not the same. So we need to add her. Come down. Continue the merge. Finish the merge. And another one's done. Okay? Okay, same name, male, no other information. Again, it's a different Ann. And now here's Daniel, 3SY. Let's go back up and look for Daniel. David, Daniel, 3H, oh, not the same. So we add him so we don't lose him. Continue the merge, finish it. Okay, so now we go to the next one. Do the review. Alright, the name is the same, the sex is the same, so we reject those. Okay, and different number than any of the other ands that we already have. Okay, add that. Now we look at James, look at his number, N79, LZL4, N79. Let's go look up here. Oops, missed it. James. Whoa, whoa! LZL4, N79. Why, yes, that's the same person, but defined to a different mother. Now, what that means is that James is defined to at least two Anns, the original Ann and this duplicate. We don't want to add him twice. Again, he'll end up with parents with no names. So we reject him because he's already in the original family. Okay, so we don't want to put him in there twice. Down to the bottom, continue merge, and finish. Alright, so now we go down and we do the next one. Okay, wait on it, wait on it. Okay, name's the same, gender's the same, we reject both of those. Go down here, different Ann, so we save that one. Now here's a Mary. She's born in 1810, and there's her personal identification number. 9JQs are the last three. Let's go check out and see if she's a duplicate in the already existing family. Well, no, she's not, except here's Mercy as opposed to Mary. Okay? Born at the same time. Back in the day, Mercy, Mary, Maria, all were interchangeable. Or, back in the day, they used to give their children the first name of like a saint, like Mary, and their middle name something else, and that's what they go by. So their name could be Mary Mercy, okay? But in either case, there is no Mary currently in the family, and there is a Mercy. So what we're going to do is go ahead and add her, because she's a different number anyway, and we'll weed that out as we go along. Okay, just wanted to make sure that you understood that as you're going through this merging process, there may be things that need to be researched before you merge them together. Okay, so what I've done is I paused the recording and I cleaned up all those extra Azariahs and ands so that you wouldn't have to sit through the pain of watching that. But what I want to do is show you that now when I go to Azariah and I say look at his possible duplicates, it says there's none left. Okay, so we know that we cleaned them all up. Now that doesn't mean that when we get through with this entire process that we won't have more of them show up. And you'll see why as we go along. But now that we're done with the merge, what we have here is the original Anne and the original Azari with their original children. Okay, and now, but we still have all of these ands defined. Okay, see that? See how many of them there are? Okay, well, they all need to be merged together because each one of those ands probably has a child linked to them. They may or may not. You never know. Anyway, so we've got to fix the ands now that we've fixed the Azaris. And we do it the same way. We go to Anne, and we go to her personal information. Now, one thing about this is that because most of the ands that were merged don't have a last name, therefore they may or may not show up with Anne Gearens. Okay, just FYI, we'll take care of that. I'll show you how to make sure we get them all cleaned up. Okay. All right, so now here's Anne and her original family. Let's do the possible duplicates. And it looks like they're going to show up. So we do the match and then we do the merge. All right. Again, Anne has no last name. So we don't want to use that one and we don't want to use that one. Okay. Now, here's the marriage record, which causes that box to show up in Azari's personal information. This record right here makes that box show up. But since we already have a marriage record, we reject it. It will then erase that marriage box. Okay, if you don't reject it, then it will still be there, even though the people are the same. Okay, and now this is our original person that we started with, Robert Pottle. Okay, he was defined to Oziri and an Anne. This is the Anne that he was assigned to. Now look at this, 7H5. So if we go back up, not too far again. Good job. Robert, there's Robert, 7H5. See, so it's the same person attached to this mother. We want to reject this. And notice, this has no number, meaning it's a phantom record. Only there because Robert's attached to the husband of Anne, who we've already merged together. Okay, so just reject that and reject that, and that will take away the marriage box and the extra mother from Robert. I hope that wasn't too confusing. All right, now we go down and do the next one. Reject the name, reject the, sex. Okay, here's the marriage information, same person, different marriage box. Reject so that we can take that box away. Daniel, 3SY. Okay, again, it shows here that since the father and now the mother are both the same, there's a child involved here, and so even though Daniel's in here, it's not the same number. Okay, so we have to add him so he doesn't get lost, and we'll merge those later. Go down to the bottom and say continue. Okay, go down, possible duplicates, pick the next one, reject the name, reject the gender, same thing, reject that, and okay, Nancy. Same thing. There's a Nancy and there's a Nancy, but they're different numbers. So we want to make sure we save that, and we'll take care of it later. Reject the name, reject the gender. There's the same box. Reject that. Okay. Azari and Azari, different people. We'll merge those later. So what I'm going to do is I am going to finish the cleanup on Anne. I'm going to stop the recording and finish that up, and then we'll come back for more. Okay, as I was cleaning up Anne, I got this page here. And the reason I wanted to show you this page was because of this message right here. Can't be merged at this time. This was actually the last record I just did. Okay, so the reason that shows up is because there is a temporary database, and then there's the permanent database. Okay, when you do the merge, it sends the request to the real database to be done. Still is in the temporary database until the real database says the change has been accepted. Okay, so this particular record was the last one I did. It hasn't had time to make its travel, over to the real database and be accepted. Next time we come in, this will be gone. So you don't worry about those. Okay. So we do the regular merge. And I think this is the last one. Reject, reject, reject. David's up there. Okay, this is a David. There's a David up there. Different numbers, different date. Okay. And then the continue and the finish. Okay, like we did with Azari, we'll go through it just one more time just to be sure there's no more duplicates. No results found. Okay, that's what we want to see. All right, so here we are. As a result of what we've done, okay, take a look at this family now. All the children are in here. There's a David and a David, a John and a John, a Simon and a Simon, a Jane and a Jane, a Daniel and Daniel, Nancy, Mary and Mercy and Robert and Elmira, Zyra, George and George. Okay? But there's no other husbands for Anne. Okay, now what we do is go back to Azari, just make sure that there wasn't a straggler left over there. And get down to the bottom here. There is no other wife, so that's good. We'll check one more time on the duplicates just to make sure. And we get no results found. That's good. All right, so we have this part of the cleaning done. What we have left is a bunch of duplicate children. Okay? So I'm going to do a couple of them, and then you'll see what we have to do, what comes up with that. Let's start with James. So we have to go to his personal information to clean up his duplicates. Because they have the same father and mother, they'll show up in the possible duplicate list. Okay, well, let's check see what he's got here. Okay, he's got a wife, Hannah, and he's got a few children, no other wives or children. So at this point, that looks good. So go to possible duplicates, and there's his duplicate. There is a duplicate, but as you will notice, let me scoot the screen over, this has no parents, which means the James Pottle that is his duplicate brother in his family list is not here. So we will have to take care of that a different way, and I'll show you how. But let's take care of this one. Okay, his name's the same, the gender's the same. Oh, let me scoot the screen back over. Okay. Oops, what did I do? No. Okay. And we've got a real death date, so we don't need that one. Okay. This is Mrs. Hannah E. Pottle. Don't know why they defined it that way, but they did. So we add her because she's different. Now, Addie O. NHK. Let's see what... NHK. Okay? So those are the same people, just defined different parents, or different mothers. So we will reject that one, so it's not in there twice, and merge, and finish. Now the good thing about this screen here is that it has him and his family, and his parents and his siblings. Now the reason why that's good is if we go down here, oh, Gordon, stop that. If we go down here, oh, there is no other James. Never mind. I lost my mind. Okay, so now that we've merged James, we've got to merge his wife. Now here's the easy way to do this. To make sure that we know that we're getting the right person, you copy and paste this number. Okay? Now, the way you do that is you take your mouse, you put it at the front, you hold down the left mouse button, okay? Hold it down, and then you drag your mouse to the end. Okay? That will highlight that. You hold down the Control key and hit C. That copies it. Now we go to here. Okay, and we see if she shows up there. Sometimes she does and sometimes she doesn't. And here she is, so she did. So I didn't have to do that, but it's better to be safe than sorry. All right, so we don't care about that. We don't care about that. She's dead. Here's the marriage box. Same person. And reject that. Okay, now remember, we took Addie off of the parent but still left attached to the mother. We fix that now by rejecting them both and say continue merge. Say finish merge. Okay. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but when we were in the duplicates last time, there was another Hannah. So we're going to go check that one out because this one has no parents assigned to her. What we're going to do is we're going to see if this Elizabeth Clark and the other one that has parents are the same thing. Okay, so here she is, Hannah Clark. We'll review the match. Now, this may or may not be a match. Okay, we're going to go on the assumption that it is. So we're going to go through and clean up everything. All right. Check this. Okay, the date's pretty almost right, and the place is right. She's dead, so I'm going to reject those. And if you've been doing your research outside of Family Search, you would know whether or not these were the same people. Okay, we don't ever want to put in extra garbage. And we add the parents. Okay, and then we finish the merge. Okay, so the fact that I knew all that is why I'm putting them together. So now we have Hannah with her parents and siblings. We have her with her husband James Pottle and all of their children. Okay? And so like always, we have to go back to James. Okay? And we got his brothers and sisters, and now we're going to clean up. We're going to clean up the rest of the kids. Okay, so I'm going to go here. Okay, this one and this one, this David and this David, they're the same people. Okay, this one just has the wrong birth date, so I'm going to copy his number in case it doesn't show up. Then I'm going to go to David. Okay, here's David. Waiting for his family, okay? And then I'm going to say possible duplicates. Possible duplicates, there it is. Okay. And now look at all of these. These are ones that we have to clean up. This here is the one that was on the duplicate family thing. But let me show you a different way you can do it if you want to. Now that we've copied the number, we can go up to the top here and say merge by ID. And then we can go down here, possible. We say Control V, paste that in there, okay, and then say continue. So if you're merging people back and forth, and for some reason, whatever the reason is, they don't show up in your duplicate list, you can do it specifically by that number. And okay, so we can reject this, reject this. Now look at this. The birth date, there's a real birth date, okay? But not sure if this birth date is actually correct. So we really shouldn't merge these together until we know for sure which birth date is correct. So I'm not going to merge these together right now without doing more research. So I'll say, go down to the bottom and say cancel. Okay. So anyway, this is what you have to do to every child. I'm going to go back to the main screen. This is what we have to do with each one of these, each one of the children in here, that there's a duplicate. The John and the John and the Simon and the Simon and the Jane and the Jane. And as you go through, you'll see that there's a lot more duplicates than what's in this particular list. And you say, well, why is there so many darn duplicates? Well, let me tell you a few reasons why. One is before they created this particular family search database, there was a different research database called New Family Search. And before that, there was a set of a database called Ancestral File. And there was a database called Pedigree Resource File. And when they created newfamilysearch.org, they took all of the Pedigree Resource Files and all of the Ancestral Files and threw those in there and tried to merge the best they could. Of course, that's going to leave a lot of duplicates, okay, right there. And then people started uploading GEDCOM files that weren't in the best of shape. That throws out more duplicates. Now that we're in this particular system, they are adding records from extraction. Meaning, as they go through, I don't know, let's say the main state birth records, and they go through the extraction process to take those names out of the whole list, they'll throw those in there. Okay, so now we've got a whole gob of entries out there with the same name. So that's why we have to go through and try to keep this thing clean. It's a big problem. So anyway, I think at this point you've seen how to merge everything together. I'm going to go through and finish cleaning this up myself. But as we clean up some of the kids, they may throw in a few extra parents, and then we have to go back and clean up the parents. And once we get done with that, then those parents have parents and families, and it can go on forever. Okay, but the important thing is, do not merge anything that you're not sure what you're merging. Okay, let me show you a quick little, I call it an undo. Okay, let's see, let's go to somebody we've already done some merging on. Well, let's go to Azeri. If you screwed up, oh my gosh, how can I do? What in the world? Okay. Over here in this column, let me scoot the screen over a little bit so you can see better. Okay. Over here is the latest changes. It'll show you the last 3. But if you say show all, it will show you all of them. Sometimes you can undo some. Now it doesn't look like there's any undos in there. It'll come up in a big box and it'll say you can restore. Yeah, okay. You can restore the connection, but in this one there's not any. So if you mess up before you do anything else, you may be able to undo it that way. Okay, so that does it for basic merging. When I go through and find some very complicated stuff, then I'll create an advanced level merging. But for now, that should get you pretty close to where you need to be.